Kia ora, my name is Mackenzie and I am one of the tutors for Inspiration Education, and today we're going to be talking about how to help your children through mock exams. So it's hard to know how exactly to support your children during mock exams, and traditionally it really polarizes students. Sometimes they will greet it with complete apathy and sometimes they'll be super stressed about it. And there are different things that we can do depending on the way that your child is responding in this time of year. So if your child, for example, is not taking mocks super seriously, or they feel that it's just practice and that the end of the year is really where they should be focusing their time, it might be useful just to remind them of the purpose of having mock exams. And while it is good practice, it is at the end of the day a backup grade for the end of the year should something happen. For example, in 2016, after the Kaikoura earthquake, students weren't able to attend their exams after that, and so they did have to rely on these grades, and that did result in their final marks at the end of the year. Conversely, if your child is feeling really stressed about these mock exams or are finding themselves quite anxious about it, it can be useful to remind your child about how they aren't the end of the world, and that even their final exams aren't the end of the world. It's a time to practice and perfect their skills and the concepts that they have been learning throughout the year, but really isn't an indicator of how good they are as a person or a bunch of various other things which are influencing your child. To help your child prepare for exams, we recommend using the CTP approach. The first point of which is consolidate. And so this is really important because for the end of the year, there is a lot of concepts to learn, and the externals have a little bit more content than your regular internals. Quite frequently as well, students will be learning these concepts right at the beginning of the year in terms 1 or 2, and so it's been a wee while since they have revisited this content. A good way of helping get around this and revising this with your child is using our study guides and some of our study checklists as well, which are available on the Studytime website. Also, if you are just wanting to help them in learning this content again, it is really useful to help with your child chunking the information. And what this does is helps organize the content in your child's mind so it's easier for them to piece things together and make connections. Secondly, you can also help by helping your child create study sheets or summary sheets, which will have the information on it as well. The second point is testing. And so in exams, we feel quite a bit of pressure, and every child does as well. And so in these exams, a thing that commonly happens for students is that they just forget the information. However, it's not a case of them unlearning things or not knowing content. It's a problem of retrieval and accessibility of those memories. And this can be greatly inhibited when we feel stress and pressure. So the way to get around this is to help your child with their retrieval on a regular basis outside of the exam, so they have some practice in this. So what we want to do is learn things outside of just using our notes, using study techniques which use a deeper level of processing, where students are having to put things in their own words, write things in their own words, or create study resources based off knowledge that they have in their head, rather than just using a workbook or copying notes, which uses a much shallower level of processing. Thirdly, the last point in the CTP approach is practicing exam questions. Now, this is really important because what it does is it helps the child gain an experience of not only the content, but the format and the lingo and the way the NCEA exams are formatted, or any kind of exam. So the practice of doing actual exams or previous year's exams are really important in giving that child a real life experience of what they can expect. Now, practice exam questions are available on the NCEA website, and you can look at previous exams as well as answers, which are further down on the page of that standard as well. It can be really hard to know how to best help your child in both the mock season and the final exam season. It's important to have discussions and ask questions about where they are struggling, what kind of exams they are sitting, and when they will be sitting them, so you have an idea of your child's workload as well as them themselves. Organising this all together is a really useful way of getting everyone on the same page and doing your best to understand the situation that your child is in as well. Good luck with helping with mock season and final exams.